The wind picked up again in the afternoon. They pulled anchor and set out once more, this time hugging the outer edge of the coastline. Far off in the haze, the silhouette of a small island came into view, low and tree-covered, like a smudge on the sea. "Think we can make it before sundown?" Maeve asked. Clara studied the wind, the shape of the waves, the angle of the sail. Her hands felt it, her gut measured it. "We can if we tack wide," and they did. For the first time, Clara truly commanded the boat, not just steering, but planning, reading the wind's mood, adjusting course, riding each gust like a musician plays a note. By dusk, the island grew closer. They reached it just as the sky turned orange and pink, the sun melting behind the mainland. A crescent-shaped beach greeted them, backed by dense trees and a soft slope. Clara dropped anchor and Maeve hopped ashore to tie a line to a sturdy driftwood log. The two girls stood on the sand, toes in the surf, gazing out at the fading day. "Worth it," Maeve whispered. Clara nodded. "All of it." That night, they built a small fire just above the tide line. They cooked noodles and talked about everything and nothing. The stars came out like sparks in a black sky. The Milky Way smeared overhead in silver dust. Maeve curled into her sleeping bag on the sand. Clara stayed awake longer, staring at the water. The sea was different at night. Still, but not silent. It breathed. The boat rocked gently in the shallows. Her sail furled, her lines humming softly in the breeze. Clara walked to the edge of the beach, barefoot, carrying her journal. She wrote, "We are farther than I've ever been, and yet I feel closer to something I've always known. The boat listens, the wind teaches, the sea carries. I don't know how far we'll go, but I do know this. I was made for this." She tucked the journal away and climbed back into the tent they'd pitched. And for the first time in weeks, she slept without dreaming, because real life had finally caught up. They spent 2 more days out. One day, they explored a reef and watched sea turtles drift like ghosts beneath the waves. The next, they found an abandoned dock on a forgotten beach and tied off for lunch, scaring up seabirds and collecting bits of green glass polished smooth by time. Clara sailed drift through every tide and turn, her hands at home on the tiller. She read the weather like a map. She guided by current and cloud and instinct. She stopped being afraid of open water, because it didn't feel open anymore. It felt like hers.